This is a Bay Original podcast.
Hi everyone, welcome to KOKKA Tales, the student podcast in collaboration with Bay. My name is Nicole. I am the Culture and Entertainment Officer of KSU, and I will be hosting the program today. Our first guest for the program is Debrii for our second episode, where we will be discussing DJing in Malta, a hot topic considering everything that had happened with the pandemic. So let's get started. Hi Debrii.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Nice to have you.
Thanks. It's a pleasure to be here.
Okay, so first of all, you're a DJ. So can you tell us a little bit about what led you into the industry?
I mean, it's a cliche, you start out young and sing to TV tunes and stuff like that. But then around 7 or 8, my cousin is a big music fan who got into production before me. And we used to play this game on Miniclip or some website like this. And
I used to love Miniclip.
Miniclip was the best.
It was amazing.
And thankfully, it got me, these internet games got me into music. So Miniclip for life, And there was this game called Notissimo, I think, or Notissimo or something, and it was like drag and drop, like sounds and melodies into a clip. And from that, I liked the kind of plug and play, making music kind of thing. And then my cousin downloaded FL Studio, and we used to hang out a lot. And I downloaded it myself, started production. So I got into production before I got into DJing, and then around like junior college days and 4 and 5, like
you get
most
into
DJs,
the scene.
You start, please let me play, and and begging for gigs, and then gradually it gets better, But here we are today, thanks to Miniclip and 4 and 5. But
amazing. Kind of gaming got you into the music industry. It's a very
kind of
weird kind of transition,
yeah,
but it's great. And obviously, you've been doing it for a while now, from junior college days. Have you seen any major developments in the industry? Because I'm pretty sure it changed so much from that time to this time.
I mean,
apart from COVID,
else,
which obviously changed everything.
But yeah, beyond that, I mean, like most industries, the technology is playing a big part, and it's like my DJ friends and everyone, even the new ones and even the older ones, technology is playing a huge game. I mean, God forbid we mention TikTok for another time, The mashup thing, radio is really big right now, and everyone, thankfully the stations are giving a platform to the DJs to play their music and play other people's music.
Which is a great idea, because in a world of a pandemic, as in you're usually in the car with your friends, that's the only thing you're doing right now, and at least you have some tunes that are kind of similar to a party in some way, shape or form.
And, Malta being Malta and the DJ scene being what it is, it's like you need to exhaust your resources, so you need to get 100%. Your face and your brand almost close to the extent that you start annoying people with it. You can make music, you have the radio show, you put out some content, and it's everything. So it's changed in the sense that content rules now. Without content, 100%. I mean, you could be the best DJ in Malta, but if you have no content, you'll get your name out very...
Which makes sense in the age of TikTok and Instagram Reels and all of that. It's kind of the more you give, the more you get people to see you.
Content is king, but it's a good thing because it's a bit competitive in a sense.
100%. I think TikTok, to be honest, really changed the way music is produced, because you see people that are everywhere and anywhere producing music in the most amazing ways and collaborating with each other from different countries. It's great. And how do you kind of see the industry developing in Malta? Because personally, I think that when it comes to the arts, in Malta, they're a little bit limited. Not a lot of people kind of look at them as a career path. They look at them as kind of as a hobby. Did you see any developments towards it becoming more of a career goal for some people?
I mean, more or less. I think, like on a national scale, and it's no one's fault, but we're so limited in our opportunities due to being small and our geographical location being what it is, that while we do invest into the arts and culture, maybe less so than I would like. That's because I'm in the scene, and I hear about people's struggles and they always want
100%.
more, But I think we could do much more, to cultivate the arts and to give people that incentive to just more or less jump into the field, I can't speak for like dancers or theater people, but I'd like to imagine that they could have much more to work with.
Definitely, 100%. Everyone that I know, I think that's in the industry is always kind of jumping from one thing to the other, but always seeing other things that they can do on the side, because it's so volatile.
Exactly. That's it. It's volatile. Exactly what happened with the pandemic, and although unprecedented, because let's face it, but
Unprecedented 100%.
something like this could come along, and I haven't DJed for like a real party in like a year or so, and I had to shift a lot of things. I had to take a career change and start learning new things and start part-time job, and and thankfully radio came in and it helped, and now we're trying to look to the future, and maybe it's not so far, but still we've adopted this mentality that we need to do more always. 100%. Even in like normal circumstances, you still need to put out content and make music, and so at least silver lining kind of.
For sure. I think the pandemic, as much as it kind of changed the way that everything happens, and especially for the culture industry, for something that was, in my opinion, booming slowly, it kind of gave it a little bit of a kick in the stomach, and like stopped all the production that was happening, kind of. How do you kind of feel the pandemic, apart from obviously everything being cancelled, how does it affect the industry and in the future of the industry? Because I know you're very active on the restart movement as well. What do you envision for the future in a possibly still with COVID future and even post-pandemic future?
I mean, without being too, it's all on the internet. Again, content has to be the primary thing, Obviously, I follow a lot of DJs, and I follow them mainly on their socials and the stuff they put out. So you can have huge shows, but having on the internet, having content, having music that you make in more like palatable forms, that's why TikTok, has blew up recently, because it gets something, but you need to compress it and make it like palatable to the general public, and you'll see that with the views.
Instantly gratifying.
Exactly, and that's basically what like the music scene is. Mostly like live shows, they're instant gratification, and it's kind of shifted to the technology thing.
So do you see of any policy developments that can kind of help the industry get back on its feet and become better than before, really? Because before it wasn't even that much on its feet.
I mean, I'm not really a policy kind of person. I don't think administratively, but what I think we should be able to see more of is like what we see with busking and like live performances, spontaneous live performances. These, DJs, I've seen a couple on the internet who are doing really good. There's a DJ named SWAT, and he just has his backpack and the DJ equipment on him, and he just, he cycles through somewhere or walks through somewhere, and he just plays music loud in public, which is, kind of loud music in public is not always accepted, especially in places which are mostly quiet. But I mean, it could be a cool chance to... In
more touristic areas, it may be, at the end of the day,
to be something which is entertaining, give some color to the place, entertaining, exactly.
100%.
Maybe something like that, like more encouragement of not DJ, just a DJ in a dark club, and it's not that anymore. It's far from just...
It has become anything you want it to be in
exactly,
reality. And the internet gave you that opportunity, and it's kind of expanding it immensely. And I think that's one of the most beautiful things about the arts. We are such business-minded people in the sense that we truly strive to do the most with the little that we get.
Exactly.
They don't get paid much, and that's the reality, unfortunately. But they do 5 rehearsals after each other, 2 shows back to back, to try and really get the culture into the people.
And the Malta especially, since the opportunities aren't as, unlimited as we'd like them to be, and because, the resources are what they are. Speaking for DJs at least, and I'm sure like theater people and photographers, videographers, editors.
100% arts covers.
Like PRs, we're on graphic designers, we're on marketing agents, we're on managers, booking, everything in one, so it's the hardest thing to do, but at the same time, it's most fun because you meet a lot of people, 100%. You get to know new stuff.
And it's not what is the norm abroad. Abroad, the minute you want to get into something that's art-related, you get an agent, you get a manager, you get someone that's helping you with your PR, but here we kind of do it all ourselves, and we make it work even from the little that we get in reality, which is amazing.
Tracking back to like the opportunity thing, that's why, the population and the geographical whatever, and no one will immediately jump into being like a theater booking agent or a DJ manager, because
what can you
realistically, if you don't like lock in one of the top 10 in Malta, what money is there to make a full-time job around it?
100%. And what money do the artists have to give you? Their managers. And because even when you see kind of salaries that people get, they're not enough to take a 10% cut in reality.
Exactly.
So why would you become a booking agent? But at the end of the day, it's something that should happen because there's more opportunities for both foreign employment and Maltese employment. you studied at university and you studied communications.
Yes, I did.
Yes, you studied with me communications. So how did you kind of choose to go through that path at university? What kind of led you to it, and what outcome did it give you for your now life?
So let's start I was initially, for some weird reason, I was going to take a law course. And
Same.
actually, it's looking back, what was I going to do in a law course with it's more cutthroat than communications. It is what, the reality is that. But I think I didn't get my physics intermediate or the science subject I needed to qualify for MedSec. I had to repeat again, unfortunately, which looking back I don't regret. It was an opportunity to work on my music.
A lot of people actually do it, and most people that I know repeated, for example, junior college,
Exactly.
They say it was the greatest thing that ever happened to me.
It was refreshing.
You really get to. I think we choose what we want to do at a very early age in Malta, and I think sometimes it's good to take that year to really decide what you want to do and what you can do.
Exactly. And you need to enter. I'd like to believe that you need to enter into university with an adult mindset if you want to get work done and
100%
have the social life and have
to get everything in one package essentially.
Exactly. And then after law, it was like it dawned upon me that law is not it's not the vibe with it. So I took a couple of opinions and I was introduced to this communication course, which is like a bit of everything. I'd like to call it when someone asks me.
Truly is a bit of everything. It really gives you an overview of everything.
Exactly, and then you begin to study the units. Like there's purchasing and buying behavior, which was really cool, and then there's editorial, which is about magazines, but what works in magazines and print, and I really like print. I'd like to believe that it's alive more than ever nowadays.
I agree, 100%.
And there's lots of things, and I like to, much like the music scene, doing lots of things and being able to.
At the end of the day, it helps you as well.
Exactly.
You know how to market yourself, and you know how to put yourself out there
Exactly,
more. And yes, fine, it's very academic, but the academics do help you sometimes to the real world.
And it's not, albeit not the most hands-on course. You get to know a bit of everything, jack of all trades, kind of
choose
vibe,
what you want to go
Exactly.
for at the end of the day. I remember we had film studies as well.
We had film studies, which was, it's not, applicable in many situations, but, to get to appreciate and to get a good understanding of how the arts came to be what they are nowadays is really important.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. I think history in general, whatever you do, is so important. To know what the people did before you and to kind of do what's next. I remember I had a class where the lecturer had said that music and life is kind of like a remix. You grab from the past and make for the future. And I think that was one of the best things I've learned from the entire communications course. It was amazing to hear it. I never thought about it before. And then when he said it, it was like, that's live. That's a remix,
And that's how we got into the, art in general, is whatever one would like to perceive art to be is up to them, but art is like a sum of its previous parts. We came from I had an art unrelated to communications, but I had this art unit, and you get this understanding of Dadaism came to be what it is because something came before it, and it was a mashup of two things.
Exactly.
And it's a bit poetic in a sense nowadays.
100%.
But yes, as in communications was the perfect choice looking back, and I didn't even have marketing A-levels in post-secondary and junior college, but I had Maltese and English.
Teach you the basics, they really do teach you the basics.
They start from the ground up, and I'm really glad that, I chose the course and learned what I learned, especially in the last year, where the majority of units we had to choose ourselves.
I think that's one of the highlights of being in the arts faculties, let's say that you kind of get into something, but then you choose what you want to pursue, kind of. And I think that's really good, because not only does it make you see everything holistically, because you do have units that kind of you have to do and they teach you everything, but then you also find the stuff that you like and kind of focus on them. And it even helps you at the end of the day for a thesis or dissertation to know what you really like.
And they leave, headroom for deciding what you want to learn and what you don't want to learn, and we had this music production course, which I was really surprised that was available, because in Malta, we don't have our Red Bull music academies and our Berkeleys and whatever, but that little unit in university made me think that, there is something and you just need
There's room to grow.
Exactly.
There's definitely
to apply pressure, but it's there.
100%. And I think it's so important that the universities and the academic system in general teaches the youths about music, about the arts, about expressing yourself in different ways, So do you kind of believe that DJing can be a full-time career in Malta?
I mean, like anything else, I wouldn't suggest, and beyond the arts industry, I wouldn't suggest like dropping everything and jumping into something all guns blazing out of like a hard-headed attitude to do that thing. It's good, and passion is important. It's not important, it's essential.
100%.
You know,
without passion, most of the arts won't happen, you know. As in, the money is important, yes, but at the end of the day, it's the passion that drives people to want to listen, do more.
And I mean, the money, you need to have a roof over your head and have a roof for your children. And
so
have
important.
in the future, you know, but having something which is, and I speak for myself, like what I try to believe in the DJ industry, I do it because, you know, beyond the instant gratification of playing music and having people, you know, scream and to the aux cord you're holding,
which is definitely a big boost.
Which is really cool.
Definitely a big boost.
But being able to create a moment which people will look back on, it could be something for a live performance during in a theater performance, you know, or during a concert.
Hitting someone's emotions in some way.
Exactly, like creating moments, and that's why the passion is important. But you can't let it drive you beyond the administrative and lifestyle kind of thing, which is why maybe I would say try DJing as a full-time thing, but also get into maybe graphic design, which you'll need to help your DJing, but you could also do on the side freelance, trying to get to maybe video production, which is, albeit something you need a lot of time and a lot of effort and of patience for. It will also help, you know, the arts thing, and do a lot of things and see what, you know.
One of the most beautiful thing about the arts, I think, is how holistic it is.
Exactly.
As in, you need to know one, the other, the next. You need to know everything. You know, an actor isn't just an actor in Malta. An actor is a director, a producer, a writer. I think it's the same with DJing, you know. To be a DJ, you need to be your own social media influencer and manager. You need to be an editor. You need to know how to use radio. You need to know how to use
like the
film.
TikTok algorithm.
TikTok algorithms. Who knew that the arts will need to use maths one day?
I'd like to excuse myself for my maths teacher last year when I told him that algorithms will not mean anything, but here we are, you know.
Here we are.
But that's it, you know. What I think is that Malta maybe have very limited opportunities to do it full time. Why? Because, you know, myself, I'd like to think that we have like a 12-month calendar, like a scholastic year, but it's 9 months of like the winter gigs, which are like Parcheville clubs and these private events and university events, which are really, really good. Some of my
university events are fun. I can't wait to get back to them.
I can't wait, same. And then there's 3 months of summer, which is like the festival tour, you know, the bigger crowds.
Tourists coming in.
Exactly, you know, and even lots of Maltese people for some reason beyond like people who are in the education sector. Summer is like, okay, it's summer, we have to enjoy ourselves.
100%.
Then 9 months of winter, kind of,
literally speaking. It's like go to the beach, go to the club, and like have fun, you know. And highlight of your year.
It's not, you won't have, I mean, good luck to anyone. Then I'll hope that everyone gets the opportunities to DJ often, you know, and then express their arts. But there are limited opportunities for everyone to have these good parties that will not, you know, demotivate you. You know, you can play at a restaurant, and you can maybe, like, if you play 6 days a week at a restaurant with a decent pay, you might have a full time out of it. And if that's cool for them, I mean, it's good because there's an art to playing in a restaurant and, you know, setting a vibe. But I think at this point in time, there are very few incentives and very few opportunities to have something to pursue full time, where you'll be able to make music, have your radio show, have your DJ sets and your own productions and collaborations with people, you know.
To become a brand at the end of the day.
To become a brand. And looking to the future, I think could be possible, but we need to push a bit, you know.
100%. I think we need, to be honest, they have expanded amazingly, but there needs to be more collaboration. There needs to be more collaboration with politicians as well. There needs to be more funding. All these things are things that are necessary for the arts to really have a solid standing in Malta, essentially. And
looking to the future, I mean, maybe we could have ties with other European countries, you know, and push touring in foreign countries.
That would be great.
But again, it's the production thing, you know. I mean,
it's the managerial side that needs a little bit administrative, that needs a little bit more.
Exactly, one beyond the managerial side, and two, there are very few DJs in the world which they'll book because they're excellent DJs. For example, you know, it's off the top of my head. Maybe I know 3-4 like Jack Master, Carl Cox, which their productions albeit being good, you know, I listen to their productions on Spotify, but their DJ skills, they book them for their DJ skills. The 99% of DJs, they book them for their hit song on radio. You know, these big DJs come to Malta because we know them from that number one track or from that radio song which we've heard a million times, you know. So
you need the exposure at the end of the day.
Exactly. So that's my message. I think we need to push production, and then we could branch out more even beyond our shores, you know.
So going kind of as a closing off to talk a little bit more about Debrii. So what would you say makes you stand out from other DJs?
I mean, this, you know, like, I said to someone recently that I'm just like this beagle puppy of the DJ industry.
Beagle puppy, I love it.
I'm really motivated with everything and excitement. I want to be friends with everyone. And I approach the scene with this blind optimism, like I said before. So maybe to my detriment, hopefully not, but I see it less of an industry and more of like it's a really cool thing, and see people who, you know, make music and play and different opinions, you know. So beyond that, I also like loud colors and loud music. So
brilliant.
You know,
best party. So to end off, we're gonna go with a little bit of a quick fire round.
Yes.
So I'm gonna tell you a number of questions and you need to kind of answer them as quickly as you can.
Okay.
Okay, so let's go. So private or public events?
Public in the sense like big parties.
Exactly.
Public by far.
Nice. Age?
23.
Locality?
Santa Vera.
Favorite color?
Orange.
How old is KSU?
KSU is 120.
Nice.
120 years old.
Yes, nice. It's our anniversary. So, favorite international DJ?
Don Diablo.
Nice. Last song played?
1 second. Frank Ocean, Lost.
Nice. All-time favorite album?
All time. Then it changes, you know, it's like a periodic favorite album.
I know what you mean. I have like 5 that rotate and then another 5 come in and then they rotate.
But I mean, right now, maybe Slow Tie, Tyron.
Very cool. Very, very cool. So favorite music genre?
Favorite music genre? I mean, Future House right now in terms of DJing, maybe. And then, you know, there's like this chill R&B and rap and hip hop, but...
Nice. It's a mix of everything.
Exactly.
Summer or winter?
Summer.
I agree. Happiest travel experience?
Okay, so 2018, Zigit, 7 days, festival in Hungary, Island of Freedom, you know, favorite artists every day.
Amazing.
And I say it's like you went to another planet, you know, colors and
I'd love to go
to
one of those
Highly
festivals.
recommend
I'd
it.
really love to.
I love that place.
Single or taken?
Taken.
Message or call?
Message or call? Call.
Middle name?
Michael Anthony.
Nice. And upcoming DJ to look out for?
I mean, there's a lot, and I don't want to mention one without mentioning the other, you know, but there's a huge scene of young DJs who are really upping their content game for themselves and for like the older guys, maybe myself even older than me. And, you know, anyone who's like under 20 and is in their post-secondary kind of stage.
Look out for them.
There are a lot of people to look out for, so...
I think they really know what to do to get
They know
up
the
there.
social media thing,
They
you know,
got the
so
social media
props to them.
down.
And they're also like... I'm not really old, but compared to these new people, I'm a bit older. So
Yeah.
we're the boomers now, kind of. And they're teaching us some things which we didn't consider before. So that's a good thing.
That's very true. Thank you so much for coming, Debrii.
Thank you for having
I really
me.
appreciate it. This was an amazing conversation.
Yes.
Make sure to support the arts as much as you can, guys. Let's try and make sure that they have a future that is really solid in Malta. Listen to the KSU podcast, KOKKA Tales, the student podcast in collaboration with Bay next month. We'll release one every month. And thank you all for listening. I hope you enjoyed.
This is a Bay Original Podcast.